Hi, welcome to another video on some aspects of piano technique. Now today I'll be speaking about the issue of physical legato whilst using long pedals. Does it matter, and if so, why would that be the case? Anyway, I've got a special guest for today's video.
Oh, hello there. I'm Mr. Chuckles.
Yeah, Mr. Chuckles watched one of my recent videos, didn't you?
Yes, I did. I found it highly informative. However, I also thought it could have been much better if I had been in it.
So basically Mr. Chuckles has invited himself to join us today. Now, it's not really ideal having Mr. Chuckles here.
Why, don't be so rude.
I don't care if I'm being rude, Mr. Chuckles. I'm just being honest. Now, usually I would have two hands available, which is quite useful. However, for today's topic, I'm going to use some left-hand only piano music, which is really quite relevant, actually. With left-hand only music, we basically have to emulate as if there's two hands at the same time, and then the pedal blends everything together. So it's especially relevant, this issue of whether we have to hang on to the notes. And yeah, I'll play an example of an arrangement for left-hand only by Frederick Minders.
Oh, what's it of? Is it the theme from Batman?
No, I'm not going to be playing the theme from Batman, Mr. Chuckles.
Why? Are you not good enough to play that?
Yeah, that's right. I'm not good enough to play the theme from Batman. So instead, yeah, it'll be an arrangement of Sanson by Frederick Minders.
Oh, is it?
Non que sur et revoir. Oh yeah, it is. A bit surprised you knew that. But anyway, so yeah, I'll just play a couple of minutes and then we'll come back and talk about a few issues afterwards.
Oh, it's quite flashy.
Yeah, can you be quiet, Mr. Chuckles? I'm playing here.
Oh, that's very nice.
Thank you, that's very kind of you, Mr. Chuckles. So as I say, the pedal is a big part of this. So what I'll do, I'll play a little bit without any pedal. And the first time, I'm not going to concentrate on the duration of the notes. Now, at first, it's not directly about legato for now. But we have a lot of thumb notes, the melodies. We can't join all of those. So what I'm going to concentrate on is showing the difference between hanging on to those melody notes for longer or just letting go of them quickly. So the first one I'll do with no pedal. I won't pay much attention to the length. I'll just try to make the right volume. Yeah, so you hear that sounds rather choppy. Do you think that would have sounded good if I'd added the pedal to that, Mr. Chuckles?
Oh, I don't know. It might not have been good still.
Yeah, exactly, yes. So actually I'll just demonstrate the sort of sound that I would need to make. I'll show that without the pedal still. But I'll concentrate on hanging on to these melody notes for a bit longer this time to show the difference. So it's not yet fully legato, although I'm sure you can hear the difference in terms of holding those a fraction longer. So now let's put the pedal back in and let's test it out. The first time, I'm not going to pay much attention to how long I hold these thumb notes for. The second time, I'll try to hang on to those a little bit longer, as well as using the pedal. And again, hanging on to the notes for longer.
Oh yeah, I think the second one sounded much better than the first one. Sounded like complete... Oh, what happened there?
Yeah, I had to cut the video, Mr. Chuckles.
Well, why did he do that?
I've told you, no foul language while we're filming. This is going on the internet.
Oh, sorry about that. I'll try to keep it clean.
Yeah, you'd better do that now. Anyway, so let's move on to the objective explanation as to why this physical duration of contact can be an issue, even when the pedal is held down for a good long time. In short, it's not just about whether the sound is still heard. It's really about the ability to control the sound, both directly and indirectly. So the first example here, there's a thumb melody, and I have accompanying notes in between. That's just the thumb then with the accompaniment added as well. Now the problem here would be if I didn't hang on to these while the accompaniment came in, I wouldn't be grounded. My arm is connected to the thumb. If I let go of that, there's much more risk I'm going to come crashing down on the next finger. So even with the very best intentions, it's going to be a lot harder to control the sound of the accompaniment. So it's not really about the melody note itself in this instance. It's about the fact that the melody note helps me control something else. And it's really important to look out for these indirect relationships. If I don't worry about the melody, it's so easy to get that kind of crashing sound.
Yeah, that sounds like a load of old...
No. Keep it clean this time, Mr. Chuckles. No more cuts, please. Doesn't sound good. Now, I'll show the other extreme, though. If we try too hard to be honest, that's actually quite bad in this case as well. If I try to hang on literally as long as possible, then I'll get these horrible stabbing movements for the next melody note. So we've got to take every case on its own merits. We're actually going to use a middle ground in this one, where we try to linger long enough for control, but we're not stuck in the idea we must hang on to the keys at all cost. We still have to let go in reasonable time to get the best result. Anyway, so let's use another example. Let's have the Scriabin Prelude.
Oh, the cello's left hand, opus 9.
Yeah, that's right, Mr. Chuckles, yeah. So even in this case, it's not as difficult in this case, but here I would still recommend personally. Tends to be much easier if that's still there to control these fingers here without the arm feeling heavy on those fingers. So that's a relatively indirect effect. However, there's also quite direct effects involved in terms of the physical contact. If we rush to get to something else and we don't properly finish moving the keys with control in the first place, the pedal's going to catch the sound, but that sound is not going to have been controlled. So in this case, it's really quite a direct effect. We have to recognise that it takes a certain amount of time to control the sound first before we get away from it.
Ah, yes. That seems very simple now you mention it.
Yeah, it is really, isn't it? So I'll just give a demonstration in the Scriabin, the first jump in here. After this one, the classic mistake would be something like this. And panicking getting away. I've not controlled the sound. It might be really imprecise, a little bit kind of clipped. Some fingers may not move as evenly as others. It might be way too loud because of the hurry to get down there. Lots of things can go wrong. So the trick to this kind of thing is to practice with a pause. That way I know I've finished taking control over those keys. Then I can drift away. then when I play for real, I'll try to do something rather similar but cut down the pause. Now, again, we can potentially have the same problem as in the other situation. If I worry about staying there, maybe my arm gets stuck here. And then that's the panic afterwards. So that can also be a problem. The way to be sure we get the best of everything is to separate the roles of the fingers and the arm. So when I get to that chord and take control, what I'm going to do is try to control it from the fingers as the arm is already starting to come away. So it's the fingers that maintain a little bit of length, not the arm. The arm's not stuck here and then having to panic to get away. But the fingers alone are lingering while the arm is starting its journey towards a target. That way we get the best of everything. We're not rushing away from those notes, but neither are we stuck. We're still in the bigger flow towards other things.
Oh, yes.
So I'll just play a bit of that again in the normal demonstration so you can see. Yeah, don't make a big issue of that, Mr. Chuckles. Anyway, so I hope that's clear as to how these things work. Can I get you to summarise it for me, Mr. Chuckles?
Yes, okay. So, when you have long pedals, it still matters how long you hold the notes for. Make sure you finish controlling the sounds before you let go, especially with melody notes. And if you have to get somewhere else fast, still leave the fingers in the keys a little bit. Even if the arm is starting to get away sooner, the fingers can linger slightly.
Yeah, that's quite a nice way of putting it. What was the other one?
Oh yes, if there's an accompaniment, remember, control of the accompaniment.
The what?
Accompaniment.
I don't think you can say it. Control over the accompaniment.
Yes, that's right. That can be affected by your contact with the melody. So remember, it's not just about the melody notes, it might affect other things. There may be other benefits of staying there for longer.
Thanks, I think that's not a bad summary, Mr. Chuckles. Yeah, thank you very much for that. So, of course, all of this applies particularly to left-hand piano music, where it's incredibly exposed. It really stands out if we're rushing to get things really fast and not controlling the sound. You'll especially hear it there. But it's true for everything. This isn't specific only to left-hand music. It's all the same stuff. If we're playing notes into the pedal, letting them ring while the hand has somewhere else to go, all of this stuff applies, whether it's left hand, right hand, or whatever. Anyway, so this has been a little bit of an experiment. How did you find it, Mr. Chuckles?
Well, I've rather enjoyed myself.
Okay, so well, the audience will see if they enjoyed it, Mr. Chuckles. If you liked him, then please do say in the comments, and maybe I'll bring him back again. Whereas if you hated him, and you'd rather I just left him out of the next video, then yeah, do mention that.
Well, what about if they hate you, and they just want me to come back without you?
Yeah, well, if that's the case, then put that in the comments, just whatever. Really. Anyway, I'll certainly be back at some point, I hope. Maybe with Mr. Chuckles, or I don't know, maybe it's just Mr. Chuckles on his own on the next video. We'll see how it goes.
Anyway, thank you for watching, and goodbye.